right, catching up with STAYC because, well, there's many songs that I still have to check out. I'm working on a video right now for my top 10 songs of 2023, and so that will be up later on this month. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish it, but I'm just working on it a little bit every day, and it shouldn't be too long though, but I just can't say like for sure what day it would be. But one song that I did miss earlier in the year was Bubble, right? And so we'll check out STAYC Bubble. I haven't heard STAYC in a while. This will be fun.
Check it out now. STAYC. If yeah, 입을 밖은 위험해. Let it go, let it pass. 좋은 것만 기억해. 빙글빙, 빙글뱅 안 돌리고 싶어. Hey, listen up. 나다운 게 필요해. Let me go, let me say. 이제 그만 hate away. Hello, punch you like a 808. 너는 나, 너는 너. 전혀 문제 없는 걸. 다른 것도 틀린 건 달라. 동그라미 원하지. 미련 그 누구도 몰라. Nobody knows. 어쩌지 I can't be. 어디로 될지 몰라. Superstar. 잔소리 바보. 잔소리 바보. I'm sorry, 바보. 참 많은 걸 고민 말야 가끔 세곤해. 궁금한 건 참지 못해 그냥 해볼래.
제멋대로 돼 가끔 생각 없어 보이네. 어쩌겠어 뭐래도 난 절대 안 변해.
Let me go, let me say. 이제 그만 hate away. Hello, won't you like a 808. 나는 나, 너는 너. 전혀 문제 없는 걸. 다른 것과 틀린 건 달라. 동그라미 원하지. 미련 그 누구도 몰라. Nobody knows. 어쩌지 I can't be. 어디로 튈지 몰라. Superstar. 잔소리 바보. 잔소리 바보. I'm sorry, 바보. They say I'm in trouble. 사라질 것뿐인 걸 너무 흔들리지만 That's me. So what?
들으면 어때 특별한데.
동그라미 원하지. 미련 그 누구도 몰라. Nobody knows. 어쩌지 I can't be. 어디로 튈지 몰라. Superstar. 잔소린 바보. 잔소린 바보. I'm sorry, 바보.
Very colorful and quite melodic, actually. I was waiting for like maybe the rap verse to come in or something, but there's some fun rhythms. It's an extremely upbeat song. Like it's got this very buzzy kind of fun energy about it, right? But it's actually a quite intense pace here, and we're in 4. There's a very cool intro part where we have this string sound. It has a sort of a symphonic quality to it, right? Because of the instruments that you're hearing. And then once we move into like the actual verses of the songs, there are these little like maybe double stop rhythms that come at the end of the phrases that are the like electric guitar with distortion. And then there's some keys in there, and there's some synth keys also, especially like moving into the pre-chorus section. And then the bridge actually ramps up the 808 bass, and that becomes probably the strongest like mix sound at that point in the song. So it's an interesting blend of these different instrument sounds, right? And these different sort of timbres that you get throughout the song. And it's pretty like sequential also. These change-ups occur within the section, right? Because that guitar sound likes to hang around in the verse sections. And then, you know, we get a slightly different feel in the pre-chorus, and then moving into the actual chorus part. And but there's some really fun rhythmic devices in here, especially that chorus hook, you know, the bubble. It's you like the first two beats. Well, no, the first beat, there's not a vocal there, and on 2, it comes in with the naggings R part, and those are like 8th notes. But then that bubble is really tight 16th note group that's all in the third beat. The third beat is 3 and a bubba, and then 4 and bubble, right? So you get this really tight 16th note group in the middle of your hook measure, right off the third beat. And so that lets you know like exactly how fast this track is actually going. That's why you can bubble, right? It's a very quick pace, but it's fun. And probably like STAYC, you know, they have some great melodies. There's some great high notes like in their songs. Some of them have these wonderful peaks, right? But this one, for the most part, it stays very melodic. You know, I was waiting for like somebody to drop the rap, you know, like Jay or something, but it never really happens though. They really sing throughout the entire song, and it matches the vibe like pretty well of what's going on in the mix. This colorful, it's very buzzy, it's very bright. At the bridge section would have been, you know, like the most intuitive space to kind of change it up there, the vocal delivery, mostly because that bass sound becomes so prominent. But it kept it pretty much melodic like throughout all the phrases. And your chorus hook is really quite minimal, and you know, it's a little burst, it's a little pop, right? A bubble, right? So like, you know, you hear measures go by, and then you get this blah 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 blah, like right, and then it goes away. It's over. So it is like this little popping bubble of rhythm, right in the middle of these chorus section. It's pretty interesting. It's fun. It's definitely fun. Wow, it's like this feels different, like it stands out a little bit, you know what I mean, from like the past STAYC tracks that I've heard. It does something a little bit different. Now maybe, you know, if I go through the albums and such, like there'll be more examples like this probably, but just off of what I've covered here, this one kind of stands out a bit. It's interesting. So like this very cool symphonic sound, right? Like it's rich strings, almost like a string section. And they're doing this cool thing where they're playing like upbeats. When you hear that bum 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 bum, that's the ands. It's 1 and 2 and, right? It's not playing on the downbeats. It's a really fun rhythmic pattern, and this is actually like a very strong way to start off the song, especially with the direction that it's gonna go in. The color's really great. The tone of this is really, really nice, and kind of like prepares you for that buzziness, right? That the song's gonna have. The strings have, it's a little bit of tension, right? Like that sound has this pull to it. It has a little bit of this sort of tense type of feeling that it builds up, but it really is like prepping you in a interesting way, right? Like this harmonically and what's going on here with these instrument sounds. It really, really is a strong start.
Check it out now. STAYC. If 입을 밖은 위험해. Let it go, let it pass.
So real staccato sort of kick and bass sounds, right, to bring you out of that intro. It's like, you know, you're getting ready for this now. And then you can hear the electric guitar part as soon as we move into the verse. And it's not, it's, you know, it's like one beat, like bam, and then a little upbeat, bam, bam, right? It's just these really, really stringent little signposts for like that come right at the end of a phrase, essentially. And it's quite like different. I mean, because it's a very strong, if you're gonna like throw electric guitar in there, it's very, very powerful. Like it's a strong sound. If you're, in terms of like live music, let's say, you know, it always is makes for a very just dynamic, heavy sound. And so it's very like lightly used here. It's just kind of sprinkled over things. The structure, the writing on this is really, really interesting. Like it's quite different. It gels together in a way that you know, it never loses its continuity or dilutes the color or richness of it. But it's really interesting. A really interesting approach.
좋은 것만 기억해. 빙글빙 빙글뱅 안 돌리고 싶어. Hey, listen up 나다운 게 필요해. Let me go, let me say 이제 그만 hate away. Hello punch you like a 808. 너는 너는 너 전혀 문제 없는 걸. 다른 것도 틀린 건 달라.
So moving into this pre-chorus section, there's some keys sound in here, but then you also get no more of this detached type of rhythms, right? Nothing staccato now. Now it's all straight through, right? And we're getting kicks on, you know, the first and third beats, accents over 2 and 4. Now it starts to take on this, you know, very familiar sort of vibe to it, right? Especially the beat that's going on, right? It's kind of establishing that because it's very broken up in the verse section. Like there's so much space in between everything. And it's it's an interesting approach to it, man. From the intro, right, which was like a string section thing, and then moving into the verse with the guitar, everything very broken up, you know, all these like lots of space in between the beats. And actually, I guess now that I hear that first verse section, a little more emphasis on the rhythm as far as the vocals, right? We don't have like these legato lines sort of carving out melodies yet. We start to move in that direction though once we get to the pre-chorus section.
동그라미 원하지 미련 그 누구도 몰라 nobody knows 어쩌지 I can't be 어디로 튈지 몰라 stupid stuff 잔소리는 바보 잔소리는 바보 I'm sorry 바보 참 많은 걸 고민 말야 가끔 세곤내 궁금한 건 참지.
So this is really interesting. Is we have pre-chorus for sure, and then I feel like the chorus section, you know, you could either call it a chorus and then post-chorus, right, with a blah 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 blah, where it's just that line, but you could even call it like chorus 1, chorus 2, like as in A B, like there's two halves of it, because that hook is definitely the bubble 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 line, like that's definitely the hook, right? And the part before that is leading you there. There's some lines that start to build up, right? And they're really trying to get you to that rhythm, to that hook rhythm that's coming up. So it's interesting. I don't know if to call that like 2 pre-chorus sections or 2 chorus sections or an actual chorus and then post-chorus. But I feel like most of the hook is in, you know, the part right before the verse comes in, because it's just such a definite rhythmic device. Like it has so much pull to it, right? But it could be considered a post-chorus. You could. It depends. You hear the title of the song so many times in that section, and it feels more like the hook. Moving into this second verse section now, they have ramped up the percussion a little bit, right? Because we're getting this sort of like shuffle, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump. But you're still getting the distorted guitar part that comes in sort of like at the end of each phrase. And so this variation between the first verse and the second verse, also the vocal work here is different. It's a little bit more melodic this time around than it was in the first verse. And the first verse, some of those vocal registers were a little bit lower, right? They were kind of sitting towards that mid to low end. This has a little bit of a different tone to it. So between the verse sections, there's a different feel. Now it's got a kind of a lighter tone, it's filling in the space with this sort of shuffle percussive rhythm, making it feel very dance-like. It's sort of like keeping everything up in the air a little bit, and it's fun. This song keeps building up in fun ways, and it never loses that brightness either.
못해 그냥 해볼래 제멋대로래 가끔 생각 없어 보이네 어쩌겠어 뭐래도 난 절대 안 변해.
What a fun rhythm, right? She's doubling, well, the piano is kind of following dun, 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 that little descending line there on eighth notes. It's fun. That's like a little surprise part that comes out of nowhere, right? And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, where did
궁금한 건 참지 못해 그냥 해볼래 제멋대로래 가끔 생각 없어 보이네 어쩌겠어 뭐래도 난 절대 안 변해.
No guitar riff on no guitar chords, right? None of that bam, bam, right? Because there would have been one right there, but instead it switched over to a clean keys sound. It's a clean piano, right? Not even like a keyboard. Like that's straight up piano, like an actual piano, So really like kind of a surprise, right? So it's unexpected.
Let me go, let me say 이제 그만해 it away. Hello, hello, won't you like a 808? 나는 나, 너는 너 전혀 문제 없는 걸 다른 것과 틀린 건 나 속으라니 원하지 니란 그 누구도 몰라 nobody knows 어쩌지 I can be 어디였지.
So right here, there's some of the string sound is in there. I wasn't sure. I didn't catch it the first time around in this section, right after the first verse, but it feels like this feels like a pre-chorus, a little bit of string sound in there. I think there is some rhythm guitar also. I'm hearing something it sounds like a strum that's in there, and then of course the bass and the drums have their full-on groove now, right? Like all the beats throughout the measure, and there's I believe it's a hat that's coming on eighth notes, so you're getting a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the hat sound, and so this is like the most full part, and then moving into it's really interesting because you move into the chorus, and it all gets like super compact and sort of down to that one measure, right, when it's going to give you this really tight group right in the middle of that measure. So it hits you like an 808, right? That's a wonderful part in the bridge. Like it's actually sort of like drops down, loses some of the bright parts over the top, even the the vocal delivery there is like a little bit less melodic now, more emphasis on rhythm. And the 808 sound there actually, it's really has all this room now, like without the sort of top end sounds that are coming in. Now there's all this room, right? Right before that, right, in the sort of hook section, you get that bow, 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 like that, so that buzzy synth. It's a weird, like a distorted synth sound that has what you call it, like the sustain on it kind of tapers, right? Like it's a tone that kind of jumps up, right? Like that's what those sounds are. It sort of ramps up very quickly and then kind of like dives off, right? And that is giving you this melodic sound. The buzziness of it makes it seem like, no, that's not a melody, but it actually is a melody line. And then it sort of carves out this descending pattern, and then it takes you to the bubble, bubble, bubble. When we move into this bridge section, though, like it's the contrast between the two. Without that buzzing synth tone that has that sustain on it, that kind of leaves the picture for a moment. And then you have all this low-end 808 bass and kick, right? And it just has so much room to like swell up and grow in that space. And it's actually a really, really cool contrast, man. I mean, like it's all because of that. Because your ear is following that, and then, you know, it leaves you off in this boom, like the bass and the way the 808 and the kick work together. They're creating these pockets, and it's really, really cool. Just like the bridge section, the way it fits in the middle of this song here, it's really awesome. Some wonderful ad libs too. It's like there was a crazy line in there, right, coming out of that bridge section and sort of into your last chorus part here. That was really well done. A lot of power behind it. Like it gets kind of pocketed like in the mix, right? So because you don't want it to be like too loud, otherwise it will kind of swallow up the rest of the sound. So it's kind of up and a little behind some of the other sounds, the sort of main vocal there. But that ad-lib line is a fantastic high note, and it's got a lot of power behind it, like tons of projection. If you had the raw recording of that, like it would be pretty insane. Like it would be extremely up there in its dynamic level for sure. But this is fun. It's a really interesting song structure too. Just, a very strong beginning with that sort of symphonic strings, arrangement that's going on, using a bunch of upbeats, rhythms, and a very specific instrument sound to kind of get you ready for the buzziness of this sound, right? And then going from that into something that's so sparse, like the broken up rhythms that are in the first verse. It's because it's so smooth in the intro part, and then all of a sudden it's like everything is spread out, and then of course the pre-chorus comes in, and you start to get that groove established. So it's like putting everything back together. And then a really interesting chorus structure too. Just this super tight 16th note group coming in on the third beat of like the last measure in what you would call the chorus phrase, and coming in the second verse a little bit less disconnected, right? Like the percussive rhythm starts to fill in all the space there, keeps its groove, right? Like as it gets all this energy by the time you get through that first chorus section. And if you went back to everything being kind of broken up and spread apart like it is in the first verse, it's like you don't want to lose that. Like it builds up all this momentum and gives this characteristic vibe. So you want to keep that energy level high, right? So we have the percussive rhythm more filled in now with this sort of shuffle beat. And then the vocal ranges go up a little bit also. So a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter, and much more sort of melodic also. And it's an interesting song structure. It's very, very novel and does a great job of like giving you variations on the ideas, but never losing its brightness or like it's fun. You know what I mean? This the fun factor of it. And it's interesting. It stands out for some reason. I think it's really just that there's some good rhythms in here. There's some parts that you can say are maybe a little bit more like the rap style or kind of like that rap singing kind of, but not like straight bars, right? And I think that's kind of the biggest contrast between maybe some of the other STAYC songs that I have heard and listened to. But it's fun. It's STAYC makes fun. I haven't heard anything from STAYC that is not fun. That's not just like that doesn't get you in some sort of like hyped up so it's a mood, right? And it's always like a positive mood. It's always like this fun, cheery sort of positive mood. And but this was an interesting song structure. It's a really interesting writing. I'm wondering, like, who came up with that strings intro idea, right? Because it kind of, I could see coming up with the chord progression. So okay, here's a verse chord, and then going into the pre-chorus and chorus, and then because it feels like that after that was done, then they said, how are we going to start this? Like, we need something. We need something interesting, right? Like a way to get your attention right before we come in with this verse. Being that it is kind of, the mix is kind of broken up with the different sounds and rhythms, and so that it's really, really interesting because it's such a specific sound, instrument sound. The emphasis is on the upbeats. It's totally counterintuitive to what the rest of the song does, but a really, really smart idea. Kind of bold, kind of like, taking a chance on this, but it works. It works. So it's a good call. But man, this is an interesting song. Made me think a little bit, like, how do we put this stuff together? Like this works. I know it works. It does work, but what makes it work, right? Like I think it's just there is a characteristic buzzy, bright energy to this song, and everything kind of has to serve that. Even the bridge section with its contrast, it gets all of its pull and all of its strength because of that contrast, because of the sort of shifting down into the lower end of things, giving the bass sound so much room to grow and kind of linger and have sustain down on that end. It's a very, very interesting song, man. Very, very good writing. And STAYC, they're awesome, as they always are, right? STAYC Bubble. That was interesting. I want to check out the like a live set for this. I think maybe if they do like it's live and they have a band arrangement for it, I think that would be really cool to hear. So I'll probably check that out later. But STAYC Bubble was fun. Very good composition. Very good writing, for sure.